Hello. Hi, my name is DJ Fred. Welcome to another episode of DJ Fred Podcast. Today, I'm in the presence of greatness. I have the man that walks into a room and sucks up the air. He's just have that great personality, and you can't contain him. It is my great pleasure to have the president of the Nigerian Association of Pharmacists and Pharmaceutical Scientists in the Americans Incorporated, Mr. Emmanuel Chidi Ezirim. He's a registered pharmacist. He's also the author of Jet Black and the Ebony Nights. He also he was the founder of the in Odinigbo cultural group, but a performing arts group back in the day. He'd say he's a busy man. He's a busy man. Mr. Emmanuel, you're welcome, sir.
DJ Fred.
Yes, boss.
That's my guy right there.
Yes,
man.
Boss.
All that big time introduction. I hope I don't disappoint your public. Man.
No.
But how's everybody doing? It's the E Doogy in the house.
This man, you don't drink.
That's right.
But to me, it seems that you're always high. Why?
High on life. High on life. A man without vision shall perish. When you get a vision, when you get something that's driving you,
Yeah.
and you're consumed by all of that stuff, you don't have time to do things that don't fit into the success of that system.
Do you ever experience downtime? Like, do you ever
I do.
feel
I'm
down?
human. I'm human, of course. Of course. As I'm talking to you, I'm going through human stuff right now too, but you wouldn't know. But you take them all in stride and you just keep going. You get to a certain point though, when you realize that, okay, this is life.
Yeah.
If it's not this, it's that.
Yeah.
I had a friend one time, one of my mentors, he said people always, they especially the religious people, they pray and want God to bind Satan, bind him and throw him away. Listen, and he said, and I'm gonna, Duke Heller is my mentor. Okay? He's he's solid guy. He said, even if God was to take away all your problems and put you in a paradise island, it takes only 1 week. The mangoes will fall, the guavas will fall, something else, all the fruits will fall, and then you have flies.
So in essence, it never goes away.
It never goes away. So
okay. You just have to find a way.
You gotta focus on.
Find a way to live with it.
Find a way to live with it.
To be happy.
You don't even have to live with it. Find a way to solve the ones you can solve.
Okay.
And when you're focused and when in that zone of solving the ones that you can solve, the other ones, they will fall into where they belong.
Okay, nice. All right. So let's go back to the genesis.
Yes.
You came to the States at when you were 13.
13 years old.
Your sister, your older sister brought you to the States.
Yeah, my big sister brought me to America.
All right. So what is your recollection? What if you have to recount that experience? How back then when you were told that you were coming to the States at that age?
Yeah.
You know, how was that transition for you? How did you feel?
Freedom. That's one word. Freedom. Listen, people take that word. They say it all the time, but they don't really understand it. And even I didn't understand it. My father had just passed away. I was 13 years old. I was just finishing class 2 in Nigeria in 1980.
Okay.
And my father died on May 26th, 1980. My sister was coming home for summer. Didn't know that he was sick. He had prostate cancer. You know, you don't say that word back then. And even now, people still can't really say that word.
But at that time, did they know that it was prostate cancer?
When it was late. It was not discovered until it was late. Okay. That's what makes it so deadly. And it's hush-hush. Even the person suffering from it don't say anything. They keep wanting. Listen, if you're a man right now, this is why I like this man I'm sitting here talking with. we want to educate our people. We want to have impact in our community, in our small village that is the African community that's here. Go get tested. Go do your testing. Go do it. That's the point. So let me come back. So my father passed away when I was 13 years old. My sister came home to do
Pay the final bearer.
summer break
Oh, wow.
from school. She was a PhD candidate and struggling with 3 children. And she came in right in the middle of my father being sick. And then August was buried. At the end of August, she's ready to go back to the US, and she asked my mother to find her a maid that would help her with her 3 children so that she can be able to finish her PhD course. And my mother looked at her and said, there's nobody who will ever help you like your little brother.
Wow.
That was how I got to America. There was no American dream. There was no nothing. And September came by the 3rd week of September. You know, I had never ever gone past Enugu or Onitsha. I went to Onitsha to take the common entrance right when they divided the states.
Yeah.
And it was Imo and Anambra back then. Now they got too many states, but it was Imo and Anambra. So if you from the East Central state, back then you can go and take the common entrance for both states. So I went to Onitsha, take the common entrance, and I actually went by foot to go across the River Niger. I was just looking at it, and then on my way home, I got lost, and my in-laws were looking for me the whole day, man. I've had adventures, but that's another story too. But I had never been past that River Niger, but then, and I went to Lagos with my sister, and went to the American embassy, and they just stamped the thing for me. I don't know what she said to them,
Just
but
like
she can speak their English.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
They look at me.
Yeah.
But one of the problems was that there was something wrong at my school. There was flooding, a little bit of flooding. So we went. I came to the US, and then everything started changing faster. But I remember when I landed at JFK, man, and we come outside, and I mean, it was America. I saw this car, man. I saw big, everything was big. And the thing that impressed me the most was this one car called Lincoln. And in the back, it says Continental. Oh, man, that was America. Look at him getting chills. It was Continental. Lincoln Continental, man. That was the biggest one.
Yeah.
But, you know, that experience,
Yeah.
it almost, when I landed there, it almost felt like God himself just came to me and lifted my shoulders, all the weight of suffering, and just because my mother and I were the only ones home. My siblings were all at federal government this and overseas there and this one, and I'm the last of them. And I never even felt like I belonged in that family because they were all smart and I wasn't. I went to the local Abba. I'm an Abba boy. Oh, my Abba people, man, I'm shouting you out. I'm shouting all you guys out, man. Sahako, I'm shouting you guys out. I was my Abba boy original. So I used to ride my bicycle, my chopper bicycle, Sahako, when my father got sick. Because I would cook in the morning, and I would go to the market and come home, cook before I go to school, all of that kind of stuff.
So your dad was a farmer?
No, my father was actually a mechanic, the best damn mechanic. They used to call him Abara America, the spirit of America. That's what they knew.
Auto mechanic?
Yeah, auto mechanic. He went to the Second World War and was trained as a mechanic. And his sergeant, the American guy that in the ship that he served, he went to Burma and that whole area in that South Pacific Indian, yeah. So his commander in chief, or whoever was the sergeant that was in charge, refused to let him be sent to war because he was the best right-hand man that he had. So he was a master mechanic. My father, his buddies, the other friends used to tell his stories because he would take the engine of a Vauxhall and he merged it with what are the other cars that were Vauxhall, Morris Minor, Austin Martin. No, not Austin Martin, but all those kind of cars back then. His buddies that were in the transportation business, he would always make sure that their cars were functioning. John Ihekwaba, John Anyehe, some of the people that know those names.
So this was back in Nigeria.
Back in Nigeria, yeah. Before, after the Civil War, he got sick. Yeah. Really. It was after the Civil War that all that stuff cooled down. But then,
This your, larger than life personality. Where you got that from your dad or from who? Where did you get that? Where did you inherit that from?
I have no idea, but I tell you what, man, enjoying it.
Honestly, I'm not made for those of you that know this guy. Yeah. You once he walks into as a DJ, I've encountered him so many times. I've seen him in so many situations where you'll be like, this guy is just the first time I saw you.
Wow, that's because he's the best damn DJ ever
Thank you.
You can ever meet.
Thank you.
When I work with him, it brings that energy. We have so much synergy when we work together. When I got the microphone, and I love the microphone. The whole thing is that I actually started off a very shy human being. Yeah. I used to sweat. My palms would sweat. Yeah. Especially when I'm around girls. Yeah. I would sweat. Yeah. I went to Centennial High School local here on Bethel and Reed. And man, I used to sweat it. But
when did you come out of that?
But what happened? What happened was that on the track team at Centennial, we were really good. We always had good track teams, and our relay teams were so good. We had Teddy Clark. Teddy Clark, you didn't bother timing him. All you had to do was put Teddy. He's going to be our lead-off leg, and it didn't matter who he raced against. He would just beat him and make sure that we got the lead. But so we called ourselves dogs. The 4x400, the 4x100, the 4x200. We just were there, and our biggest rival was DeSales High School. For those who are local here in Columbus, where we're doing this show, but we called ourselves dogs. When I came to Ohio State in '84, something magical happened. Because a lot of people, that knew me from high school, when they really felt like they know me now, especially the white people, the Caucasians, they do nicknames all the time. Manny.
What is Manny?
And I hated Manny. I didn't want to be Manny because it made me sound like I was Mexican. That was in my head. It doesn't matter. It's about, we all come from our own little biases.
That's true.
In life, right?
Yeah.
So, but Manny was so Spanish and so Mexican to me. And I am an English raised, Nigeria. We're British subjects,
I like that British subject.
The Queen was protected. Why you gonna put me in Mexico, right? So I didn't like Manny. So when I came to Ohio State to play soccer, and I was invited and I made the team. It just happens that there was another Manuel on the team.
Okay.
It was Manny. So I was so glad, so happy to relinquish that name, that Manny thing for him. And went with E Dog because I was a dog from Centennial High School.
I was going to go there.
Our track team. Yeah. So I was the E Dog from there. Okay. It clicked, man. It just clicked. And it was E Dog. And they started saying E Dog and E Dog, E Dog, E Dog. But here's really what happened about what you're saying about the larger than life personality. I've always smiled, especially when I'm afraid or when I'm shy. That's kind of how it was before.
Okay.
My way of, handling my anxieties, just smile. And I do have a good smile. My teeth aren't broken yet,
Yeah.
but they're still okay.
Very intact.
But I would always smile. So there was one night as a young soccer player at Ohio State, and I didn't know this. All the teams all the sports teams, they all have their own little groupies that follow them. So one night before school, when school was just starting, because season starts before school starts. Back then, we were doing the quarter system at Ohio State. And we were going out to High Street, go party. And all of our fake IDs were supplied. And we really didn't need fake IDs because if you're playing sports, there's always somebody that knows the people at the gate.
Okay.
And we go as a group and they take us in and we just go in. All right.
Yeah.
So I came to the dorm at Lincoln Tower. They have these suites that houses 16, 4 to a room, and then they share common living room. And I showed up, and this young lady, she was a freshman. The whole aura of the name E Dog got to her. They had written a few articles in the college newspaper and mentioned my name several times. I had even scored a goal and everything, and a couple of goals or two. And the girl just turned red and she was shaking. Oh my God, E Dog is here, E Dog is here, E Dog is here, E Dog is here. I mean, shaking. And my friends told me to go give her a hug. Give her a hug, just being nice, the autograph thing. And it's an American thing. In Nigeria, who cares? So as soon as I gave that girl a hug, I still don't know her till today. It was magical. Every single fear that was in me
went away.
Disappeared till today. And afraid of no human being. I am the E-Dog, whether I'm with the president of United Mine Workers or whether I'm with the United States president or anybody else. Or when I'm with my boy, Freddy.
That moment just reintroduce yourself to you.
In a whole new way. Yeah. I became E-Dog that day. E-Doggy full time. And then, the girls, they go E-Doogy Dog. So it extended. That's the thing with nicknames, man. They never stay put.
Yeah.
It was E Doogy Dog.
Yeah.
E Diggity Dog.
So now you now have two personalities. You have Emmanuel Ezirim.
Yeah.
You now have. So when you are out there,
you
put on that costume, that character.
No, I'm always E Dog, because even when I'm Emmanuel, I'm still E Doogy Dog, because it helps me relax the most.
So what about at home? As a dad.
Dad is totally different. But
exactly. When you're at home, you're not E-Dog Dog.
No, but it doesn't matter. See, that part doesn't matter. My kids just know Dad. Whether I'm E-Dog or Emmanuel, to them, I'm Dad, and they just they don't care. My story doesn't even matter to them because now they
see Dad. They don't see E-Dog.
They're bigger stars than I am. I mean, my oldest boy, Nnamdi, he's over at EKU. He just graduated from EKU, and he's about to play in the NFL. I never made it to that level.
Yeah.
He's about to be an NFL player, so he's already bigger than I am. So, but I said, Dad, you are the strongest thing that's ever happened to your kids. They think you can conquer everything until they start to get to the level. I remember when I used to set them up, to beat me in basketball. I'm not a basketball player, but they thought I could play basketball. Yeah. And then when they started beating me, I know how they felt about it. But
you're the superhero today,
Man, yeah. But life is so amazing that way.
I was going to talk about college, so you already brought that in, because I saw how you're very involved in your son's, games. I follow you on social media. You post clips. You go to almost virtually all the states. Today you're in Dallas. Next tomorrow you're in Philadelphia.
That's how it seems, right?
Yeah, that's what I see all the time. So I was going to ask, but since you already hinted on that you were once soccer player.
at Ohio State.
Yeah.
I led.
You understand what you're representing, Ohio State all the time.
I'm a 4-year letterman. I always tell people this is the hardest ring to earn as an athlete, but you gotta earn it. 4 years of varsity,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
So that means you gotta play a minimum amount of time played to get varsity, to earn varsity. Because you can come in on a good year, and Ohio State is great. You can come in on a good year, you don't play, don't do anything, and the team can win the national championship, and you get your national championship ring, and you didn't see the field. But to earn 4 years, you gotta earn 4 years. But so that athletic life, as I alluded earlier, is so awesome. I wouldn't trade it for anything. And there was a campaign Ohio State had about 2 years back, maybe 10 years almost back. And they used to say, but for Ohio State, you're supposed to, without Ohio State, what would you? And my hair used to rise because I couldn't imagine my life without the Ohio State. I followed the process that I got here. And without Ohio State, that's not imaginable. I couldn't imagine that. My sister not bringing me here. And then not going to Ohio State, where I didn't have any place else to go. Life wouldn't work. But it was such a great experience.
Yeah, let's talk about your profession, your career as a pharmacist.
Yes.
How did you become a pharmacist, or when did I know Nigerians, we always like to be in that space, but how did you become a pharmacist?
You really want to know?
Yeah, please tell us.
How long do we have?
Please tell us.
We got some time.
Tell us.
Listen, growing up, your parents are like mine. I'm sure I can confidently say that. They want you to be a doctor.
One of those.
They want to be
one of those.
Yeah.
An engineer, a lawyer. Most of the
they don't. My parents really didn't like lawyer too much, but it showed high education. And then if you say, if they, as long as you could associate that lawyering thing with Rotimi Williams, then they know you're a good one. That's a good one, right? So there's one of my uncles, it's SBC Madakalam, may his soul rest in peace.
Amen.
But he loved me because when we were growing up, when we were little, my siblings had all taken every one of those fields. So there wasn't anything left. And I said, in that case, I'll be the shark. It's not the shark, but it's the same kind of connotation. Lawyers, the same kind of attitude we got. We call it okpebuorie.
What does that mean?
Which means when you win, you profit. So that's what lawyers are. That's what we call lawyers. But it's a derogatory way of saying a lawyer. That they only make it out of
only when you win.
Only when you win. Or when you kill, like when you kill the other guy, not in a good way, but when you defeat them just defeat them.
Yeah.
So I said, well, in that case, I'll be Okpebuorie. He always wanted me to be Okpebuorie.
That's your dad?
No. My uncle, that uncle. Your uncle. He was the only one that really loved that. Okay. My parents, on the other hand, were so disappointed with me when I joined the Boy Scouts at my Catholic parish church because I did not join the Red Cross. That meant that I was not going to be a doctor. I went and joined the Boy Scouts, not the Red Cross. Red Cross, they do all the charitable stuff, and you know what saved me? It turns out that the parish priest was once a Boy Scout. Safe. Safe. I was safe. That's how that one was accepted. And then when the bishop came, us Boy Scouts had to set the, what do you call that stuff? Hold the sword so they can get through, you know, the
Okay.
tunnel thing.
In
The
church.
tunnel thing. Yeah. So that when the bishop came, you know, the entourage with the bishop, with
Yeah.
the priest, and
Yeah.
it was us, the Boy Scouts, that had to stand to create the tunnel
For
thing
them to pass
for
through.
them to pass through and come in. So that made me special. I was special for being a Boy Scout. But then, you know, so but the medical thing never left my head. Okay. Because as you get older too, you start to see if you have that kind of mindset where you're a server of people, the best place you serve people is really in the medical field, not in politics. Politics should give us a good way of doing it, but not a but the people who really truly want to do it don't really get a good chance to do it because you get attacked for doing good things. Serve the public, to serve the group. That's what killed Jesus, but we'll come back to that.
Mhm.
When you want to serve people, it's best to they pigeonhole you where you just sit there and serve 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 and you just sit there, serve and shut up, right?
Why do you say the best place to serve people is in the healthcare?
In the healthcare, because you are totally caring for their life in total.
Most especially
And
where they're vulnerable.
Yeah, where they're most vulnerable and when they're most vulnerable, when they're helpless, they can't do anything, and you are part of that, bringing them back to their feet.
I don't mean to
Yeah.
to derail you from where you're going to,
Mhm.
but do you think a lot of people still go into the healthcare now solely for that service?
I'm choosing to say yes, but life still happens, so that the financial stress in going into that may make people sometimes not deliver it totally. But I still think that people still go in that state of mind. And we just keep looking for better ways to do it more efficiently. And I'm going to come back to, but you know, going at Ohio State,
Yeah.
with that mindset of medical school, I was still heading there. But it seems like there's people who just volunteer along the way just to discourage people not to pursue that thing. Oh, it's too hard. Oh, I know somebody who knows somebody whose brother's uncle knows somebody that knows somebody that did that, and
These are Nigerians,
human beings.
just human beings.
Human beings in the school, you know, say you're an athlete. How are you gonna do that? Well, it's always hard.
Yeah.
But listen, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
That's right.
And then you will still be average. And then you still be looking for something to get yourself above average.
Yeah.
That's what life is all about.
Yeah.
To find a way to
step up.
Step up.
Yeah.
So, you know, with all of that stuff, I started looking at it. One thing I didn't want to do was to be a school teacher, professor. But it seems I do a good job in teaching these days. Because my style of teaching is not like classroom kind of doing stuff. But that got stuck in my head. I didn't want to major in biology or anatomy.
But hold it right there. What is
Yeah.
your style of teaching?
What I'm doing right now, I just like to share stories, and I think people relate to that better and learn better. And my teaching is more philosophical than it is like.
Yeah, I think people relate more to your stories when, let's say, for instance,
Mhm.
we're having a conference and you're the keynote speaker.
Yeah.
You're the keynote speaker, and you comes into the hall, you climb the stage, and you just begin to be very technical based on your field.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people will just be looking at this guy. You don't know what I'm going through.
Correct.
Yeah. Until you come down low to start sharing stories of, you know, where they will hear that, okay,
This is human.
this guy has been through what I've been through, or he has had experience at one point in time where I am in my life right now.
Yeah.
That's when they will come down and say, okay, I think this person knows what I'm going through. I can listen to this person more than for you to just come as a pharmacist, for instance,
Yeah.
and be speaking,
Grammar.
jargons.
Grammar.
Let's go back to your story,
Thinking
please.
grammar. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but that is so true.
Yeah.
So I share from the heart, and you see the conversation we're having. We're having a conversation.
Yeah.
Unscripted, and whatever it comes, it's coming because
Just
it's the
flow.
life that we've
Exactly.
led, and
Yeah.
it's just the story. So, but anyway, looking at that, I didn't want to be a biology teacher, a biology major, and then end up if I didn't get into medical school because now all the fears they're spooking you out, telling you all this stuff where you can't do this, you
Yeah,
can't
it's
do
not
that,
possible, it can't be done.
can't, and you're only an immigrant, you have to be a citizen to.
Yeah.
Back then, I'm still.
Mhm.
And I mean, the list of obstacles started to get longer and longer and longer. And that's when, and I was working as a part-time work study at the Black Studies Library. And one of my mentors there who worked there too was in pharmacy school. And I was like, that's it. And if he can do it, I can definitely do it.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, if I get into pharmacy school, it's everything that I need to do for medical school, because it was either that or architecture. And architecture, from the second year of school, college, all the classes I would be taking just went divergent like that from medical. There's no way coming. So that couldn't be my pre-med major. Pharmacy was just the perfect place to land as a pre-med major. But you know what, man? By the time I got through with school, with all the struggles, one time I had, my friends counted, I had like 7 jobs one summer. But that was when I was having the most fun.
As a student, was that they counted the jobs you've done, or you had 7 jobs?
Concurrently at the same time.
How did you survive?
It was great. Listen, 3 of those jobs was actually soccer.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then 2 or 3 of them was pharmacy, different kinds of rotation. My internship, my externship, my other hours that you have to do. So it's like 3 pharmacy jobs, about 3 or 4 soccer coaching jobs. I was running soccer camps and doing soccer training and doing personal training, doing this and that, all over the place. I was modeling too.
Are you serious?
Corvette magazine used to use my pictures all the time. Dude, that was like the best time. And I was, a friend of mine, he's a big actor right now. He does his name, I don't know if I can use his name, but
yeah,
he's
you can.
Very
Please,
good friend of mine. His name's James Black. James Black, and he's done his credits now. When I look at his credits, he's got a lot of stuff. He said, let's go to New York. And I was so scared being an African kid. It's like, that's a fake life. If I go over there, what am I going to tell I hadn't finished pharmacy
Where did you get that? Where did you get that impression from that that was a fake life?
Well, first of all, personally to me, it became a fake life because when I did the shoot with Corvette, they got the makeup lady, and I mean, the pancake on my face, man. It was so. You see how you and I are talking right now?
Wait.
They would have. If this wasn't the kind of show we do right now, the amount of pancake that would be on our face.
Yeah, but let me ask you, how did you become a model?
He dragged me.
Exactly. That is more reason why you had that impression, because you did not go through the proper channels. Assuming like, as a pharmacist, you went to school and you were trained. No, wait.
Yeah,
what I'm saying is. Because what gave you that impression?
If I had gone to school for that,
just like somebody had mentored you to tell you this. It comes with the territory.
Yeah,
it's a package. This is what you have to go through. It's a part of the process.
Yeah,
that would have eliminated that, mindset of thinking that
I think it's true,
this is fake.
But still,
I'm telling you the truth.
But still, the whole thing is that you still get used up and then you're washed up and you're done, right? Because now, you see, back then I used to have Wait, they used to call me the total package. I was the total package,
Are
man.
you serious? I wish you brought some pictures.
I was the total package, man. I was the total
But
package.
you still have it in you. Look at your hair. Because
my pot belly is coming out a little bit.
When-
Old age has come in there. You know what I mean?
when I saw you with dreadlocks, I was thinking,
Yeah.
I never saw that. Like,
Yeah.
I never saw it coming. Like,
Yeah.
oh, where did you wait? I was thinking, like, this is
Well-
unbelievable.
First, dread runs in my blood,
Okay.
and you know, in Nigeria, we have to do all these ceremonies to cut that.
Yes,
hair,
yes,
right?
yes, yes, yes,
But it ran in my family. So,
Oh.
and once you cut that first one, it doesn't quite come back. It still comes nappy, kinky, but it's hard. So, but if I let it be, it'll go. My kids have that problem,
So
especially my son
You,
Cece.
you had it when you were, you know,
Little,
when you were little?
yeah,
okay.
when I was young, it runs in the family.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
we got the kinky.
Okay.
The kinky
Nice.
Samson kind of hair, you know.
You never know.
You're not old enough to know what they call half penny. Half penny in Nigeria, it has a hole in it in the middle, and they used to
They tie. Yeah.
The cherubim and
Even
seraphim
they
people,
use they used to do back in the day. They used to use cowries.
cowries,
White cowries.
those cowries,
Yeah.
They used to tie that, but we're Catholic, so we couldn't keep that stuff.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's talk about as a pharmacist,
Yeah.
right? Trained pharmacist.
Yeah.
I really want your opinion on this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna take it back to Africa, to Nigeria to be specific. Right? You go back home, you see chemists everywhere. And majority of people that have these shops, chemist stores, they are not trained. This is something that they manage to learn this thing. It's just a trading, endeavors for them. They learn this thing, they learn it from somewhere, just business, purely business. I was a part of that system. I used to go to just across the counter, or you walk into a store, we do self prescriptions. You walk into a store, you say, oh, God, give me Panadol. Nobody tells you anything, whether it has side effects, whether you have allergies or not. Nobody asks you no question. You just go there and say, okay, how much? You give them money, you give you medication, you go back home. Even antibiotics, they tell us take on 7 days. By the time after 2 or 3 days, you start feeling better, you dump it, you don't even know where you keep it. Like when you go back home, you see all these things. How do you feel as a trained pharmacist?
You know, the one thing about human beings that I know today is that human beings haven't changed from society to society. The regular, everyday, average Joe still thinks the same way. Now, Nigeria has both pharmacies and patent medicine store, and they have different kind of licenses. They operate differently. Pharmacies are pharmacies everywhere. Pharmacies implies scientific method of doing that thing. Okay, I'm trying to find a way not to do too much bukru for our people, so that they still understand it. Okay, the local average everyday persons, that pharmacy thing can be intimidating. So now we, the pharmacists, have to find ways to make ourselves more personable to them so they feel comfortable coming to you. And then another thing is that it is hard to find pharmacies in rural areas. Somebody still has to serve those people. So I actually think, as I'm sitting with you and we're having this discussion, that we gotta have a way to have dialogue. Even the patent medicine people needs to have, they have influence. They are the ones that more of the population sees. We need to find a way to help them help people. If their thing mindset is about helping their people, we gotta find a way to have that dialogue so that they can be part of the team, part of that healthcare team. And one of the things that they need to consider as they sell their medications, as they do their business. What is the source of your business? People. If they understand that they don't want to kill off their business, which is the people, if you kill this person, if you give them wrong stuff and they die, they don't come back the next day for repeat business.
You know this because you went through the formal training.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are just businessmen.
That's what I'm saying. So we need to have this dialogue with them, so they understand that even their business, they don't want to kill their business. They will do more business if they understand that I'm not telling them to get out of business. I'm saying to them, business is business. You don't have to be educated to do business. You don't just have to have good conscience to do good business.
I doubt that.
But every level in Nigeria, it's like that. It doesn't matter what they're doing. People just have to come back to that level of, this is a fellow human being. How do I? And I want them to come at it from a selfish standpoint. It's your business. If you do something that's killing off your customer base, you're going to struggle to keep that business going. Somehow we got to understand it. And then by having that open dialogue, I am hoping that I can be able to have more intimate conversation with them, because I need to help them figure out how to do their business, but for their business to be good for the public. And there will be absolutely no question when it's good to the public, because the public will reward you, because they will come back to you. It's just everybody's afraid to be the ones to make the first move.
So, as the president of Nigerian Association of Pharmacists and Pharmaceutical Scientists in the Americans, I believe there's a body also in Nigeria, a pharmaceutical body in Nigeria.
Correct.
Is there, like what you're saying now,
Mm-hmm.
do they organize a conference for a training or a dialogue session with these businessmen to tell them what you are telling us now?
I know that there is PSN, Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, and they have a conference every year, and they are one of the groups, the healthcare groups that we have partnered up with to do advocacy type stuff. But a lot of the things that are being done on the highly educated level. While I'm in the office now, I am trying to find a way to make it so that they come back and relate to regular folks. We got to find ways to create those new types of relationship. But most of all, we got to find a way to educate the masses. They do have these public, public health, programs and ads, advocacy, ad stuff that they do to talk about the pharmacist and what we do, and pharmacy week or pharmacy month, and they will do ads and they will educate. But some of the things we need to help regular people do is how to think and how to question their healthcare provider. That is really their responsibility. For instance, if somebody is selling you a product that will cure malaria and typhoid, and at the same time take care of your chronic worms, and then cure your stomach noise, and then cure your low sperm count, and then cure staphs and diabetes, and then cures infection. Infection is a separate line. It's not staph infection. It's staphs, diabetes, and then infection separately, and then hepatitis and partial stroke and menstruation failure, general body pains and heart and fibroid, etc., etc. Now, It is. I'm saying this, and so I took my time to read all of them.
Yeah.
When you chuckled, when you laughed, that's because of the level that you reason. What we want people now to understand that I'm not even talking about the grammar on the thing, on the label, okay? Because not everybody is well educated, but they can know enough to know that my people, Igbo people say, "Ihana bananti, anaha nanya."
What does that mean?
So that means you don't wear earrings in the eye. The thing that you should wear in your ear, you should never wear in your eyes.
Gen Z's wearing now.
Because you go blind if you do it with your eyes.
That's true.
So that said, by extension, if something is going to mess with your malaria and typhoid and it's going to cure it, and then it's going to come back and cure your stroke. You have a stroke. All right? So I want them to just see how far apart those two things, not in the same body. If one medication can go that far from taking care of infection and then taking care of your stroke, okay? You have stroke, and it will take care of your stroke, and then it will take care of stuff, and then you're a man, and it will take care of your menstruation failure. And then you're a woman, it will take care of your low sperm count, and you're 70-something years old. Once somebody tells you that you shouldn't be highly educated to see that a man and a woman are totally different.
I disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree in the sense that a lot of the people we're talking about don't know this thing.
That's what I'm saying. So somebody's going to tell them
ask these questions and they can't even reason this far. I've seen, I can tell you, I've been in situations where back in the day, you'll be in a public bus, Molwe.
Yeah, Molwe.
These guys will come with their basket.
Yeah.
They stay in there, they will first start with cracking jokes. They will be saying all kinds of funny stuff. People will be laughing left and right, they'll be giggling.
I remember the first time I saw them.
Exactly. They won't come up with the idea of, oh, I'm here to sell medication. No.
Yeah.
They have it right there.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
By their seats. Yeah. They will say all these things, then people will be laughing, they'll be carried away their hand, and it starts bringing out this medication one after the other with unbelievable promises, selling points that if you take this, they'll say everything you read out.
That's what I'm saying.
This one will do this one will do this. Before you know, somebody from the back will say, give me two. What happens with it?
That's one of their planted people. They plant those people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, here's what I'm saying, though. Here's what I'm saying. So this dialogue we're having right now, people will hear it. And people that are at your level that are hearing me have relatives, and they are going to craft out the proper language to teach their parents to look out for that. If those people that are selling those things, they tell you that this same bottle that you have is going to take care of hot flashes, and a woman already knows, whether they're educated or not, knows that hot flashes belong to women.
Yes.
And sperm belongs to man, no matter how educated they are. That tells them to connect that thing is not true. It's not going to do both of those. If it's going to do that, that means it will kill you. That's what it's saying. It will kill you either instantly or it will kill you slowly. Because if it has that range, it's not true. It cannot happen. So it's not about their thinking level. It's meeting them where they are, meeting them at the level of their thinking. So we got to use things that bare bones minimum, that they can understand. If you're a woman, you know about hot flashes. You don't have to be educated. You know, women talk about it when menopause is coming. Women know it. They expect it, even the ones that are not educated.
Yeah.
Okay? And women also know that sperm belongs to men. So if in this one bottle, you're going to get all of that stuff, it is a lie, because it cannot, those two things would be dueling. You can't be having sperm and decreasing hot flashes. in the same body. You weren't created that way. You're created one or the other. So that is a mess. That is creating a mess in your body. That is how I think that we need to start approaching it. And that's why I was so eager to come to your show, because you ask these kind of questions. You reach a lot of people, and you and I can have this dialogue and reach a lot of people, so they can, because they don't have to be a pharmacist like me, but they can what we just talked about tonight. You're going, yeah. So is somebody else somewhere down the road. We don't have to save everybody all at once. We just start reaching people one person at a time, one little family at a time, because all of them are going through these problems. You know, this is a personal story for me. The reason why I am going to championing this thing is because my mother-in-law passed away because of that product. Because that product did all of those things, and all it did was cause her organs, multiple organ failures. Because all of those things happen in different organs. But I don't need to use the phrase multiple organ failures, so I can be highly educated, educated in Ohio State. No, I need to use
the language that they can understand, like we were saying earlier.
Understand, yeah.
Yeah, when you go there and break it down and talk to them, use pidgin English, talk to them.
And I'm hoping to learn that pidgin English, man.
Say pidgin English.
When I do it, I sound so
Americanized.
I sound so fake. And then my the one I know very well. The one I know very well is cow wey no get tail. Now God they catch and fly. Cow wey no get tail. Now God they catch and fly. That one I know. So that one I say very well. Okay. And I try to speak broken English, but when I do it, my nieces and nephews, they just kind of laugh, because it's almost like I do it with an accent, not the right accent. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you're like, waiting, But I know say Nigeria know they carry last. Yeah. That one.
So as a president of NAPPSA, right? Everything you explained so far, as the president of NAPPSA, does NAPPSA as an association have these as part of their plans to go back home and do like a sensitizing, carry out a sensitization program to enlighten the public, or liaise with an established body, pharmaceutical body in Nigeria, like you mentioned?
Yes.
Or always bring this point forward,
NAPPSA,
make it a point of discussion.
NAPPSA
I'm telling you the truth.
NAPPSA members do a lot of that. I know too. I can live, say right at the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
Our immediate past president, Dr. Teresa Pounds, she and her and one of the young YPs go on a medical mission every year, along with AMPA, the Association of Nigerian Physicians in the Americas. Okay? They do, and now NAPPSA, we're trying to figure out our own, where we can come just pharmacists. That, and then there are so many other Nigerian medical or pharmaceutical related, NIPRID and all those other people that we partner up with and do stuff with and try to educate. Now NAPPSA also is also going big scale, worldwide type scale. We created a NAPPSA endowment. We're building it.
Please let me hold that thought. We're going to come to that, right? Before we get to that, let's go into NAPPSA. Not everybody knows. A lot of people in the diaspora, right here in the States, they don't know anything about NAPPSA. As the current president of NAPPSA, once again, congratulations. You assumed office last year. You were sworn in.
Thank you.
You were sworn in last year. Yeah, yes. That's the magazine you're holding right there. Yeah. So please, as the current president, take this time to tell people about NAPPSA.
Well, NAPPSA is the Nigerian Association of Pharmacists, Pharmaceutical Scientists in the Americas. NAPPSA It's our own. You know, when we formed NAPPSA, it was on the premise that it's time for Africans to be doing things for Africans. Our original thought, and the goal was to deliver healthcare systems efficiently. Efficiently meaning it's not just about bring stuff, bring. You know, like I had shared, you know, about my coming to America. I had older siblings, my two big sisters, were going to America and Germany, what we call Alabeke, way back when. And there was a section of my parents' house. I call it my parents' house now because I have my own.
Yeah.
Life changing. So, but you go in there and you have stacks of suitcases still from the 60s.
Wow.
That have been coming from Alabeke,
Yeah.
from overseas.
Yeah.
And it seems like for us as Africans, we just bring. We still haven't developed systems to handle stuff. Everything you bring into Nigeria, give it 5 years, just broken down because the maintenance culture
It's not there.
is not there. So a part of the goal of NAPPSA is to help create, establish systems and make those systems run. That's a major part of what drives us. It's not just doing volunteer acts. No, you volunteer, you do charity. Every time we waiting for somebody to come help us. You know, the thing about come help us, that the person who has to help you has to finish their own chores. You know, they do have their own chores. They gotta finish it and then use their spare time to come help you. So as you're waiting, you're delaying and you're losing so many opportunity costs of waiting for somebody to come help you. We've looked at other communities that are part of the diaspora everywhere. They have learned how to self-sustain themselves. You know, the Beth Israel Hospital, established by the Jewish community, that's how they got to that, because they didn't want, and I don't want to go to that too much, you know, but we know those systems. They have now the best hospital system in America. That is the standard. Okay. Back in the 70s, the Chinese took over the laundry business. And that was their thing. And that's how they built their community. The Indians during the 90s took over the hotel systems. And if you saw an Indian whose name is Patel, you know they owned a motel. They took over that system. The NAPPSA pharmacy systems, we're working on the business side of pharmaceutical delivery. In that, we have adopted some of that system, create what we call the NAPPSA B2B system, where those of us who own their own pharmacies can come together, buy together, negotiate better deals to then return to NAPPSA as an organization, because NAPPSA as an organization is a non-profit organization. So NAPPSA as an organization does not have a product that it sells to raise money. We don't have yearly or annual drive where we go to streets and get a permit from the cities and get empty containers and people will donate for us. We don't have video vignette that we have collected of all these sick people that we're helping, and we then ask you to put $19.99 or $29.99 on your credit card every single month. So we have a different system of doing it. We're in business already, those of us that are. We're buying those things anyway, we can either belong to another group and the stuff, the returns that comes from it goes to that group, or we can do it and have it go to our NAPPSA. And those of us who do the manual labor of it can continue to do that and find a way to get rewarded. But NAPPSA, our goal is to have the biggest impact that we can. And the best way to do it is to really succeed here in the US. When we succeed here big in the US, it gives us bigger megaphone to speak with. Right now we have the AJPPS that are I drove the wrong car come out here, but AJPPS is our journal, professional journal, and it ranks at the highest level of peer review journals. Right now, Ohio State has it at the Pharmacy Health Sciences Library. We even have it in one of the London School of Sciences that our past president just made a visit to London, and they have that.
Muhammad Buhari?
No. Not the Nigerian president, but the NAPPSA president.
Oh, okay.
Past president,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
He presented that the London school. I forget which one it was, but that was a recent trip. So, in terms of world class institutions are recognizing our peer review journal. That's huge.
Yeah.
And those are the kinds of things that will have the impact, from the highly educated society. We get that, and we're making headway. And then from the local people, be able to relate to them, come from the. So the whole goal is to meet people where they are and speak the language at the level that they speak the language, and we'll continue to press the things that we started. Most of them are going to be finished by people that come after us.
Yeah.
The most critical thing is to get started.
Yeah. You have started. To speak on the NAPPSA 10-year strategic plan.
That's really what
you just everything
I have kind of summed up.
Okay.
In that strategy plan, we have goals that we meet.
Okay.
At different points, and the endowment.
Exactly. Yeah. The $1 million. The $1 million.
Once we hit the $1 million mark, which I hope all you guys will come and do when we do our fundraise, we do 5K run as part of how we raise money for the endowment. We also use our B2B returns as part of that. But the whole thing is that a lot of people don't understand what an endowment is. The endowment, we have to reach at least 1 million before we can start to use interest earned on it. We start to fund some of those charity things that I was telling you about, like doing the medical missions, all that stuff. So that when we're doing those things, we're not looking for heavily outside sources. But when you're an official $1 million endowed organization, guess what? The big boys, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the McDonald's Foundation, the Ford Foundation, the Mayo Clinic type institutions, the Beth Israel, all those big boys in the healthcare industry. Now you can come and sit down and talk with them about partnering up on a project. Until you hit that, you can't. To those who have, more is given unto them. And the people that don't get, they don't get nothing. They keep getting more of what they don't get, which is more of nothing. That's biblical.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. How can potential new members join?
Go to
the website.
www.nappsa NAPPSA.org.
Okay.
NAPPSA.org. Just go and you join. If you're a pharmacist or you know a pharmacist around you, just ask them, what's holding you from joining NAPPSA? You need to join NAPPSA.
Let's talk about your book.
Hey, my book.
Yeah, let's talk about your book.
This is great.
You wrote a book called Jet Black and the Ebony Night.
Yes.
Oh, is that a collection of stories? Is that's something like Tales by Moonlight, like we used to do back in the day? We sit around the fire, just sit down, tell stories in the night. Or this is that a recollection of that? Or this is completely different from that concept?
Story.
Story.
Yes. Story. That's what we did when we grew up.
Yeah.
You know, the unfortunate thing was that the African stories like that, those kind of fairy tales, we didn't write them down.
No, we didn't.
It was all oral. And then
Something
the stories,
you go from your grandma, your grandpa,
Yeah.
your auntie, your uncle.
and then the stories that were written down had more to do with real life struggles like Okonkwo, you know, things fall apart and all that.
Yeah.
And so growing up, Eze Goes to School. I don't know if you read that
Oh,
one.
I did.
So
I read
those were people that now could speak English, and then now they're telling about, you know, how the English or colonial systems affected our communities. And for the most part, it just kind of ruined the forces that held us together, the things that we see, the gods that we related to, and those things that people feared to make them keep on the straight and narrow. How those things were broken down and we went to foreign stuff, and then it became in bourgeois to speak big grammar and write those things. So for me then, growing up and reading those kind of stories, they were not happily ever after stories. And I was missing that when I started having my own kids. The happily ever after stories that would be Afrocentric. When I came to the US, even though I was past the little kid stuff, we still watched in the cartoons, and I still ended up reading Rapunzel, the geese that laid the golden eggs. Actually, one of my sisters used to buy me those books when I was still in Nigeria so I can read them. Okay, The Princess and the Pea, right? But the one that really truly got to me was this young maiden, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. You know, and then, you know, as an author, you get an empty piece of paper. Now you go on your computer, but it's an empty page. Nothing, it's white. And you start filling it with words. And those words start to conjure up pictures in people's heads and in minds. Okay? So I keep thinking, what is this person, the author of that book, that was written in 18 something, way back when? Now, imagine what society was like then. And that person who was writing it had everything they could name that character, that little girl. And they named her Snow White. Ask yourself, what kind of name is that? What does that imply? What does that mean? What are they saying? And then 7 dwarfs. And who were those 7 dwarfs? Those 7 dwarfs were just dwarfs. We know what dwarf means, right? So, what are they saying to society? All that is good, Snow White, and the 7 dwarfs, they were just created to serve this girl. and the image that it conjures up. And I know that there were also our own fairy tales that our parents used to tell and other older kids used to share during the moonlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the moon's out and we're sitting
in the night.
night, and everybody, then we play all other kinds of
Yes.
games, right?
Yeah.
We tell those stories. Most of our African stories, old stories, not so much about happily ever after, but stories of advice, of conscience, of principles, how to be an upright kind of person.
It will always be, most as far as I can remember, stories that will, come back to teach you something about moral,
shape you about morality.
Yeah. Teach you
About
something. There must
give
be a
you moral
takeaway.
compass. Yeah.
Yeah.
About don't lie, don't tell
don't do
lies,
this, don't do that.
rotten
Yeah.
things. That's how our own stories were geared.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make sure that I got the happily ever after part of it. Because even in the story of Jesus Christ, somehow with that tragic death.
What is happily ever after for you?
Correct. That's what I want. That's the gift that I chose to give to everybody. For me, as my lifetime gift to everyone. When you read that book, you will figure out, you will tell your own happily ever after.
Can you show them the book?
Yes. Boom shakalaka.
Where can they get the book from?
You just go online. Every bookstore has it.
Okay.
And I like to use Barnes and Nobles. Because when you're in Barnes and Nobles, everybody knows, yes, that's a legit book. But Amazon.com got it too, and everybody, all the major bookstores have it. And very soon, this June, I'm going to do a big book show in San Diego. My publicist,
California?
California, yeah.
Why
That's going to be huge.
Why California?
That's
Why
gonna be
not in
huge.
Columbus?
Well, I'm going to do something in Columbus, but that thing in California has a little bit more stuff attached to it that I'm going to hold back on for right now until I finish that. That'll be another stuff. That'll be something we're going to talk about when I come back. But Jet Black and the Ebony Knights, it's a happily ever after story with all black main characters. Okay, I wanted to show that we too live in that fairy tale world.
Okay.
It's not just other races.
Yeah.
Right? We live there too. We have not just permanent residency, but citizenship there. And I had the original. We have princesses and princes and kings and queens in the African community.
Did you infuse our own setting? You married it together?
Married it together from my experience here in the US and my upbringing
back home. And
I had to fuse it together. And I wasn't doing it because that I thought I was necessarily good at it. I was doing it because there was something that was missing.
I was going to ask you that, like, what right now, as you know, a lot of, like, I have my kids here.
Correct. And they need to read the book.
Exactly. And I know a lot of people do the same.
Yeah.
So what do you think this would, when I, like my little about close to 10-year-old daughter reading this, and she's never been to Africa.
She is going to enjoy this book.
Okay.
Right at the beginning, it starts off with lots of energy. When she reads it, have her tell you what the Shake Shack dance is.
Okay.
Yeah, especially with her dad being the best damn DJ that anybody can talk about. Okay, so that's the kind of stuff. And it's going to slip a little bit. This is the kind of stuff that we want into a movie. And we want it as authentic African as possible.
Mm-hmm.
We want to infuse our authentic African cultures. And you know, the characters I wanted them to be characters that, especially if you're in this society or any part of the Western world, you can relate to them. I wanted them to be people that once you see it, you see that name or you see that character described, you can think of somebody that you know that's kind of like that person. So it'll be everyday kind of people. But then also have authentic things about Africa that they know that, okay, that's all about Africa.
Yeah.
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 You can get all that. That is I when I was writing the book, my son, the one that's about to join the NFL,
Yeah.
Namdi was Namdi was about 12 years old. Namdi 2001. Namdi was about 12, 11 or 12 years old when I started writing the book, and I would write on my computer. You know, back then it's Windows 8. That means you got it really good. You know, right? I write. And then I read to him at the end of the week what I have come up with. I read it to him and he gets excited. He was getting excited the whole time. And then, writing, you would have a mental block, writer's block, or whatever they call it. I don't know what it's called. I just know that I experienced it because in the
writer's
process,
block.
you can't
You can come up with anything.
You can't come up with anything.
Yeah.
And the thing about writing a book is, for me, you start with the end in mind because you already know where you're going. And then you have a beginning, and then you meander all over the place through the middle and find a way to connect them, right? So when I would have that writer's block, I go a week or 2 weeks and 3 weeks and there's nothing. And Namdi will go, When you gonna go? When you gonna go to the internet and get the rest of that story?
He said, go to the internet and get the rest.
Yeah, when you gonna go to the internet and get the rest of that story? Man, the first time he did that to me, I was so elated. I was so fired up. I went back and started writing again because that was pure joy. It was raw. It was raw emotions, curiosity. He wanted it. So that encouraged me about writing, making up some more stuff that's gonna go as part of the book.
Yeah.
You conjure up things that you heard from every experience of life.
Yeah.
Jet Black and the
ladies and gentlemen, this is it. I think it's a must read for every African in diaspora. You're not just reading it, you can also buy it as a gift for other people. I'm gonna get some for my kids. They will love this.
It comes in hardback and paperback.
Yeah, right now they told me about going to Africa because when they start feeding,
it's almost time.
When they start feeding them stuffs about Africa, in school, they want to go and see for themselves. Yeah. I think you've done, quite well. You are a man of many parts. You are a man of many parts, man. You've done a lot, and you're still going. In fact, you're just getting started.
The best is yet to come.
Absolutely, I agree.
The best is absolutely.
I agree. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Emmanuel Chidi Ezirim, the current president of the Nigerian Association of Pharmacists and Pharmaceutical Scientists in the Americas, Incorporated. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
DJ Freddy, man, you are all right, bro.
Thank you, boss.
You are, bro.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. You're welcome. All right. This is where we draw the curtains for today. Thank you, sir.
Until next time.
Until next time. Bye-bye.